So a lot transpired yesterday. A lot of big viewership things that went on yesterday. And we'll talk a little bit about that and have my reaction. But there's something happened last night that's so very important that we need to talk about. Something that you already know, especially in our viewership, our audience. But I think it revealed something very, very pertinent to America. Let's talk about that today. What happened last night in the interview? What happened last night with our president? It's a big story. Let's jump into it. Today's video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. Now I know this is not the prettiest sight that you typically get. I like our landscapes a whole lot better. We're actually processing some of our chickens today. We are a sustainable farm. We eat all off our lands that God has given us, so we are sustainable, and we believe it's being good stewards with what God's given us to raise animals in a regenerative ag style way. So today we're going to be doing some processing. We'll talk about that on the vlog channel. Check that out on the Max Life. That video will be coming out the next day or so. So I had to come over here and just kind of make sure everything was set up. So you don't have the pretty view. However, it probably is better than the truck. So let's jump into today's story and what was revealed majorly last night at the end of the night. We watched an interview, a huge interview on X, but then there's something else that happened that was even bigger. What happened after the X interview with Carlson and the Russian leader? What happened? Well, for some reason, our president decided to do a presser. Now, the thing about this, there's a few things I want us to talk about. It's already known that he is decreasing in his capable cognitive abilities. We all know that, which is unbelievable that we believe that he is still fit to be the president of the free world. But there's always been story that he pretty much stopped his interviews, his pressers, by early afternoon. He was kind of always wearing out by early afternoon. You see his walk, his mannerisms. If you've ever been around someone who is elder, who is feeble, who is struggling, this is no hiding. I mean, we know that he is in a weaker state in the afternoon and evening. To me, I cannot believe that his people put him out last night. Now, here's why I believe they did. I believe there's a bigger reason, and we'll go into that a little bit more. But what actually happened last night? Well, a few things. First of all, the man lost his mind. He has no idea. I think we try to make excuses for his misspokenness, and so we'll say, well, he misspoke. Well, he has a lot on his mind. He's the president, so things sometimes he just accidentally says and it slips out, and it's not, it may not be completely right. We all misspeak. However, being the leader of the free world, misspeaking can also come across as weakness. So I don't know if we need to keep making excuses that way. And I think that this presser in the late evening proved my point. So first of all, he lashes out at some of the ones that are interviewing. Now, I had a conversation with the gentleman that has an elder parent that is actually going through dementia just 2 days ago. He says he gets so frustrated. He was talking about his father. He said he gets so frustrated because in his mind he knows what he wants to tell us. However, he cannot get it across to us. And then on top of that, he feels like he has not told us something he's already told us. He sees the grimace on our face as we're trying to understand him. He gets more grimaced and upset, and therefore his frustration, he lashes out. Not out of madness or anger, but that he is so frustrated and flustered through what he's going through that he cannot get his cognitive thoughts out to us. Now, that being said, what that meant is, a lot of times he may be nice, and then there's times he comes out as very brash, bold, and irritated with us. Well, did you not see what happened to our president last night? The man is like screaming, talking about the fact that he is elder, but that he has all cognitive ability. And he's pointing, he's flustered. You could tell he's completely off his mark. And again, as the leader of the free world, one thing you have to do, no matter what, you have to keep some kind of, balance, some kind of median, and not be so over the top. And not like as in you're calling their hand. I believe that you can easily call the hand at the journalist, but the fact is you are now leaving that calling the hand and the median response and the fact that you can be tough and have a discussion to where now you're almost overly angered and frustrated, just like typical elder, feeble, dementia-ridden patients. We've all had that in our lives, and it's a sad disease, but we're seeing it on the main stage, which is making, I believe, the weakened look of America. And I think that's why you're seeing all this turmoil and chaos across the world. One of the biggest misspeakings or misspoke words was the fact that he said that Gazans led into the open border of Mexico. He got the president of Mexico, the leader of Egypt all mixed up. Completely and utterly embarrassing. That's not a misspeaking. That is just absolutely just lost, not really knowing what's going on. So he was talking about the fact that the leader of Egypt, which is actually what he was saying was the Mexican president, needed to let the Gazans in and cross the border. There's a lot of problems with that. You know, you're not even talking about different areas. You know, I can see where someone's in the Middle East and they may get Iraq and Iran, you know, misconstrued or misspoke. I can see where they may get Hezbollah and Hamas misspoke. Just because those names are so close, same generality, same areas. Now, the leader of the free world should not get those as a misspoken, should not get those confused. But however, I can see where, you know, a lot of stress on people, they may misspeak and have their own terminologies in the fact that everything is in a very close area, close proximity. But now you're talking about the fact that the man is comparing Mexico to Egypt, the Gazans, which the Mexican border is the issue already. So I think he's, in his mind, he's playing around with a lot of things, and just whatever comes out, comes out. It's really sad. And I don't say sad as in I feel sorry for him. It's sad because we have allowed him to be the leader of the free world, and instead of feeling sad for him, it's almost an embarrassment. And I get to the point where it's like, I almost grimace, because I'm thinking, every interview he does, every presser he does, especially if it's late in the afternoon, it makes America look like a bigger joke, because we're the ones that, quote unquote, elected him. So therefore, now, personally, I didn't, but he, again, is our president. So it looks bad on us. And I think when you have a president who was able to speak for 45 minutes on his history of why he's doing what he's doing with Carlson last night, and then on top of that, he was able to give concise answers and have good conjecture, and have the fact that he never got you know, overly brazen. He never got off his topics. They had some back and forth, but he never lost his train of thought. To then compare it to our leader, who can't even, he can't even get a clear thought out. Two more things. I'm not trying to hate on the man, but the man is in bad shape. He talked about, instead of red and blue states, he talked about red and green states. Now, this is not Christmas. He was not just trying to define any kind of other thing. He was actually trying to say red and blue, Republican versus Democrat, left and right, and he come out with red and green. Very, very just over the top loss of some cognitive ability. Another thing is he referenced 2 to 3 different leaders this last few days about him speaking about what's going on in the world. All those leaders are passed away. They're all gone. They're not part of the earth anymore. So he did not speak to those leaders. Now, he says a lot of things that are completely I'd say as a boondoggle, because he would typically say things and everybody's like, we know he's lying. He wasn't raised in 15 different things that he said he was raised in. He wasn't around those people when he was younger. But now, other than the lies and the fibbing that he does, now we're to a point where he's actually lost his cognitive ability, and I don't know if he even knows what he's saying anymore. He made another comment that when asked about his son, asked about the vice presidency, if you go back and look at it, you could tell he almost did not remember about his son's passing and cancer. He almost didn't remember about the vice president. And then he kind of came back and got it together. But that shows he is losing capabilities. Now, here's the thing. Why am I bringing that up? Everybody's probably talking about that in the interview last night. Here's the thing, though. Why did they put him out there knowing his abilities are not strong at night? Why all of a sudden did he get a drop in these cases? You know, Trump is getting hit from his classified issues. However, Biden gets released as a vice president versus president. Why did that happen? Why all of a sudden are we seeing those charges dropped on the son? I think what we're seeing now is you're going to see, I think, and this is just my opinion, I might be completely wrong, I might have to walk with this back. I think you're going to see within the next 2 weeks, or at least the next month, he will decline to run for another term. I think you're going to see the Democrats help spin the fact that he's done a great job, quote unquote, a great job, and that he needs to go home and spend time with his family, take care of his kids. He's done his part. He's helped our economy. All this has worked perfect, which is all a farce, by the way, but the media is going to spin it that way. And then you're going to see, lo and behold, I don't believe you're going to even see Kamala. I believe you're going to see someone like a Gavin or Michelle or someone that we don't know, maybe a dark horse person that we hadn't thought of yet, but I really think it's going to be Gavin. I don't think it's even going to be Michelle. I think it's going to be Gavin. And I think what you're going to do is see Biden spin off and say, I'm going to step back. I think you're going to see Kamala come in, and they're going to give that title of presidency to Kamala for a little bit, or at least some of the leadership capabilities to Kamala. I believe she will get a very nice, handily paycheck to not want to run for president and throw her name out of the ring too, because she's very unpopular. And I think you're going to see Democrats put Gavin in. I think this will happen and transpire within the next 2 to 4 weeks. Am I wrong? I could be very wrong. If I'm wrong in 4 weeks, you can point your finger at the TV and say you were wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. But wisdom and wise thinking, Trump pretty much has this in the bag unless he gets held up with the Supreme Court or any of the issues that's going on. Biden, on the other hand, is very failed and weak on every aspect. Kamala failed and weak on every aspect. The Congress, you can't pull a congressman on either side because they're ridiculously weak too. So who else for the Democrats? Who's their bench? You know, who's their deep bench that they're going to bring in to replace? Well, there's only 2 people, Michelle and Gavin. And so I believe you're going to see one of them stand up. I believe what's going to help them is, again, they're going to really get appointed more at the convention. So it's going to look like they're even stronger because they're all united under one person, whereas the Republicans had to primary and kind of go through all that. I would not be surprised to see Nikki Haley move over to a Democratic spot, not as a president, not running for president, but I wouldn't be surprised if she come under a cabinet position and get appointed to be a surrogate for Gavin or for Michelle, because I think that would help grab those never Trumpers or those independent votes. I don't like Nikki Haley at all, but I think that there is a part of the populace that does like her because she's not Trump. So I think you're going to see a maneuvering there. Again, I hope that RFK will really maybe come under Trump's wing at some point in time and hopefully help swing the votes there. But if you see a Gavin get in, I think that's bad news for Trump, even though Gavin is not popular as in done good things. He's a phenomenal orator, though. He has a lot of Barack ways where he can speak. He should have lost handily to DeSantis in the debate that they did. DeSantis had him whooped on everything else compared to Florida and California. However, Gavin still was very strong in the debate and looked very strong versus DeSantis. He's a more likable, quote unquote, likable person. Not by me, but by a lot of people. He's that schmooze politician. He just is. He's a political hack. So therefore, I hope that they wouldn't happen. I hope they run Biden because I think that's the best chance for Trump. But remember, we still have like 7 or 8 months of dealing with this president. And no matter what happens, and we are really staring at the faces of major wars. Now we've heard, you know, the 25th Amendment and all this. I think that may work because that's going to give Kamala her reign, her quote unquote reign for the next few months, and then her to bow out. I think that gives the Democrats a way to wash her out. And I may be wrong, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. 25th Amendment to come in, he steps down, loves on his family, everybody says, oh, he's done such a good job. Even the rhinos will come in and say, oh, he kept peace, so-and-so, so-and-so. It's all bull. They'll pass some kind of bill that looks good, and then ultimately his sins will get washed away. His son's sins will get washed away. Kamala will come in, serve the rest of the presidency, so she will get the reigning, the first, you know, female president, but then she will get a heavy payoff, and I think she will walk away, and in comes one of the other two. I made some bold prediction. So if I'm wrong, you can tell me I'm wrong. But I think there's a lot of things that's taken place. Why would they put him out last night? I think that made him look weaker, and I think that's exactly what they wanted to do. They knew how he was going to react, and his handlers almost said, this is perfect. There's also been a lot of reports on Kamala, just with her staff and her speechwriters and all that. It's just a joke and a farce. So I think they're almost playing the same game with her. They're going to give her the kudos title for a little bit, but ultimately she will not be running either because they know she can't beat Trump. She can't even I mean, if you look at her quotes too, her quotes are almost kindergarten level and not really thought out as well. What I don't want to see though is a very weakened America to where then China and Russia look even stronger across the world. I think they're already doing that. I think BRICS have gotten stronger because of our situation with Ukraine. Our dollar has weakened because of that. So it scares me. We still have several months of Biden administration, either Biden, his handlers, or Kamala before an election. Now, the interview last night, I think the interview last night proved a few things. The media is a joke because legacy media can't get but 1 or 2 million views a night. Tucker, by 2 to 3 hours, had like 40 or 50 million people view that. That's phenomenal. That shows that the movement of influencing without having the big backers such as mainstream media, I think represents a new turn, a new pendulum swing. And I think it's going to allow more independent journalists and more independence in thought-provoking dialogues happen. So I think that was a very good thing. Do I believe everything that the Russian leader said? No. Do I believe everything that Biden says? No. I believe all these leaders are, always going to fight for their team, and I understand that. But I thought it was a very good interview, and I thought he looked strong. He made Biden look weaker, and I think that ultimately helps America see that, and the Democrats see, it's time to get rid of Biden and move on. So that's my thoughts. I wish they would run Biden, because I think that's Trump's best chance to beat the Democrat is by running against Biden or Kamala. But I don't believe that's going to happen. I believe they're smarter than that, and I believe you'll see those few little things happen within the next 4 weeks. Now, I made a prophecy. It's prophetic. No, it's not. This is my thought pattern, and this is just a hypothesis. But let me know. Am I wrong? Am I right? If I'm dead wrong, you can point your finger and tell me I'm dead wrong. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, check out the vlog channel. You will see us process chickens. Remember, we are sustainable. Our goal is not to tell you how to prep and tell you how to homestead. We're actually doing it. And our goal is to take you along that journey on the vlog channel, on this channel too. There's a lot of how-tos that we have dealing with the life that we live. We live it. It's hard, but we believe it's stewardship. We believe it's sustainable, and we believe it's satisfaction. Thank you for watching, guys. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.
River's gonna cry when you're gone.